Well, hey everyone, it's great to be with you again here on Valentine's Day. And first of all, I'd like to wish everyone that is dating or happily married a very happy Valentine's Day. And I hope that God gives you a blessed night tonight, and that God will continue to bless your marriage or relationship. And for those of you that are single, I still want to wish all of you a happy Valentine's Day as well. And today's devotional is about something that does have a little something to do with Valentine's Day, and of course it's on the subject of dating. And first of all, I want to let everybody know ahead of time that first of all, I am not an expert when it comes to dating. Because I'll be honest, I haven't been on very many dates in my life, so if you're looking for specific ways of getting a girl or getting a guy or something like that, I'm going to be honest with you, you're looking at the wrong place, okay? But the main thing I want to talk about tonight is dealing with being single. But before I get into that, I would like to talk to those who are happily married or those that are currently dating, and really the only thing I would like to share with all of you guys is just to take it one day at a time, and to make sure that your marriage or your relationship glorifies God. And if there are things that do need to be worked out in your relationship, because there is no relationship that is perfect, and if there are things that need to be worked out in your relationship, I encourage you, to not let it hang around. I would suggest to get those things worked out between the both of you, and if you feel like that you may even need some pastoral counseling or something like that, then do what you have to do. I would also say, especially to those of you who are in the youth group that may be in a relationship with someone, I would like to also share that same notion with you. It's just to take it one day at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself expecting that person that you're dating is going to be your next wife or your next husband or something like that. I mean, it could happen. I mean, it certainly happened with my older brother. He met his future wife during high school, and they actually got engaged in high school, but they didn't get married until about 8 years later after she went through school and everything like that. But they've been married now for almost 6 years, and they're definitely happily married, and actually have 2 children now. They just had their second child a couple of months ago, and so they're very happily married and raising 2 girls, and everything's going well with them. But the main thing I want to stress for those of you who are dating is take it one day at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just enjoy it. Because in our society today, in a lot of relationships, there's just no joy in our relationships anymore, and that's really a shame. And unfortunately, it's ruined our society. I mean, not all people, but there's people out there who think that marriage is just like a social thing. It's not holy and sanctified like it was made by God. And so I would say just take it one day at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And if there comes a time where you are thinking about getting married, bring it to God in prayer and seek His will. That's what a lot of relationships need to start doing today, is to be, number one, glorify God, and number two, seek God in every decision that you make. Now let me turn my attention to those of you who are single, like me. And I want to read a couple of passages to you. They come from the same chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And Paul is writing specifically to those who are single. For those of you who have done biblical research or have studied your Bible for a long time now, most of you know that the Apostle Paul, as far as we know, was single. And, of course, he would be a good person to write about being single. And here are some of the things that he says. First of all, I'm going to read to you verses 8 and 9. And it says this: I say to the unmarried and to widows, it is good for them if they remain as I am. But if they do not have self-control, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with desire. And then if you move farther down to verse 32, and I'll read verses 32 through 35, and it says this: I want you to be without concerns. An unmarried man is concerned about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But a married man is concerned about the things of the world, how he may please his wife, and he is divided. An unmarried woman or a virgin is concerned about the things of the Lord, so that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the things of the world, how she may please her husband. Now I am saying this for your own benefit, not to put a restraint on you, but because of what is proper, and so that you may be devoted to the Lord without distraction. Now, for those of you who are single out there and are having a little bit of a tough time, dealing with being single, as this passage reads, there is, hope for you. I know for me personally, like I said, I haven't been on very many dates in my life, and there's been plenty of times during my life where I've had to struggle with being single. In fact, as soon as last week, I was having, a little bit of a problem dealing with being single. And but the main thing Paul wants us to know is that if we are single, it's okay to be single. In fact, it's probably a little bit better that we are single, because we can mainly focus on serving the Lord instead of trying to serve Him and also to please our mate as well. And I know for me, especially the past year when I first arrived here at seminary, I've really put a lot of pressure on myself in trying, to find, a girl. And, I've always had, people ask me, do you have a girlfriend? And have some people telling me, you need to go out and find somebody, all that other stuff, and just keep having pressures on me. Especially, with me, being out in the world now and things like that. But I know this past year I really, struggled with being single, and I just kept trying too hard and trying to find someone, and I just put way too much pressure on myself. I don't know how much of this is a problem for those that are in high school or even early in college. But I know for me, one of the biggest things that keeps creeping in the back of my mind, and I try to deal with it, but sometimes it's hard. For some reason, when I do finally, go on a date with a girl, I keep having that expectation that this is going to be my future wife. And I know there's probably some of you who may have that same expectation. I think it's much more of a problem for those that are, around my age and in the level of education that we're in. Because, yes, we are getting older, and it's getting to, that point where, this would be about the time where a family would be established. But, but as I read this passage, funny, I'm supposed to read this book actually for my New Testament class, but I came across this chapter last night, and it really spoke to me, about dealing with being single, and you know what, thinking back, on some of the things, that I have been through as far as dating, I'm kind of glad in some ways that I am single, and that I've been able to focus more on my seminary education and also in serving God. And this is what Paul is trying to say here. He's not trying to say that we should not get married. What he's saying is, it's preferable if you that you stay single. But if you want to get married, then you're not sinning. Get married. And to be honest, for me, I hope and pray that one day I do have a wife and have a family. Because I love to raise a family. But I don't want one necessarily right now with me, with all the things that are going on right now. And that's the main thing I want to share with all of you who are single, is if you are single, it's nothing to be stressed out about. Because yes, if you are with somebody, even though you see on TV and all this that it's all love and all that, there does come some things along with it too that do cause problems. And I'm pretty sure those of you that are married can probably say that as well. You know, you can say that your relationship isn't perfect and things do pop up. But if you are a single person, I would say that just focus on serving God. You know, if you really do want to be with someone, you know, I'll even encourage you to pray to God to bring someone in your life. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking God for that. But until that time comes, just focus on serving God. That's what I'm trying to do. And yes, from time to time, that feeling still creeps up of loneliness. But when I think about serving God and doing things for Him, you know, that eases that, you know, that loneliness, and you know, I continue to be blessed by God, and I'll be honest with you too. I'll share this with you as well. I do pray every night that God would bring me a special woman in my life. You know, someone, you know, that I can, you know, be with for the rest of my life. You know, but right now, just the time has just not, it's not His timing yet for me to be with somebody. So, and that's maybe what God is doing for your life as well. Maybe just right now is not the time for you to be with someone. But when God's timing works out, then He'll bring that person in your life, and then you'll know that that's what God wants you to do. So, my main point is this. If you are single, be happy, and don't stress out about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like a scarlet letter or anything like that. Just worry about serving God. And as far as, you know, you finding someone, it will all work out. If you do serve God and live in obedience to Him, things like that will work out for you. When it will work out, I don't know. It all depends on God's timing. But I guarantee you that it will work out. And for those of you who are currently dating, and or you're married, I mean, God bless you. And I pray that God will continue to bless your relationship. And if you're dating and considering marriage, really pray to God about it, and seek His will in that matter. Alright, well, that's about all that I have for you. I want to encourage all the youth leaders and any other adults as well, or maybe even the youth, that may have some advice, you know, on how to handle these situations. I encourage you to leave comments under this video. I'm going to be posting it not only on my profile, but I'm also going to be posting it under the 2 youth groups that I've created as well, so that everyone will have the opportunity to see it. But the only thing that I ask is to please keep it clean. I mean, don't be graphic about certain things, and also I would tell you as well, is don't post something that you don't want the whole world to know about. Okay, so just make sure when you put something on there, if you choose to do that, put something on there that you don't mind anybody else knowing. Okay, well, until next time, I hope you all have a blessed Valentine's Day, and I'll see you next time.